Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and can you see my screen now? الأفعال المجردة والمزيدة. Can you see the screen? الأفعال المجردة والمزيدة.
Yes, Ustaz.
Yes, Alhamdulillah. طيب. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Let us begin our session with recitation of الكتاب and Al-Fatiha. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. Now, today we are going to learn a grammar lesson. الدرس الرابع, lesson number 4, الأفعال المجردة والمزيدة. الأفعال المجردة والمزيدة. So before we start with the lesson, I would like to give you some information regarding Arabic grammar. So previously, what we have learned previously in the previous classes, you learn, for example, mubtada, you have learned al-khabar, you have learned fi'il, fa'il, maf'ulun bih, and so on. So these are actually in the al-qawaid, in the Arabic grammar, al-qawaid al-arabiyya. Now, in al-qawaid al-arabiyya, in Arabic grammar, actually we can divide the qawaid into two parts, okay, into two kind of knowledge. The first kind of knowledge, the first part is called an-nahu. An-nahu. So an-nahu, this is literally translated as the grammar. So an-nahu is where we learn in order to form correct sentences. Okay, so that is an-nahu. So the topic covered in an-nahu, as I have mentioned just now, such as al-mubtada. Okay, you have learned al-mubtada, the subject. You have also learned al-khabar, the predicate. You have also learned fa'il, the doer, and so on. Okay, so these are the topic of an-nahu. Okay, we want to form correct sentence. Now, but there is another part of qawaid, which is called as-sarf, okay, or normally we call it ilmus-sarf. Okay, sarf. So sarf, this is not grammar, this is more to morphology. So the difference between nahu and sarf, nahu, just now I said that nahu, this is about forming correct sentences. But when we talk about sarf, sarf is more into the word itself. So we will focus on the word level, not on the sentence. Okay, we are not going to look into the sentence, how to form correct sentence, no, but how to form the word itself. Because why? Because Arabic words, as you know, Arabic words, we have the vowel, the short vowel, a, e, u. But if you read the magazine or if you look at the internet, there is no vowel. There are no vowels at all. So how are you going to read that? So this is where learning sarf is very important. That is number one. Number two, sarf is also important because Arabic words can be derived into several other words. For example, from one word, you can form several other words. Okay, for example, the word ain, lam, mim. Okay, for example, the word ain, lam, mim. These are the root letters, ain, lam, mim. So from these root letters, ain, lam, mim, we can have many words. For example, we can have ilmun. For another example, you can have a verb, alima. Okay, for example, you have ta'allama. Okay, and so on and so forth. So this is the topic of as-sarf, and we are going to learn all of this, inshallah. Okay, in the topic of as-sarf. So again, these are the two kinds of knowledge under the qawaid of al-arabiyya. First is called as nahu, the grammar, and second is called as-sarf, morphology. Now, so our topic today is sarf. This is about sarf. So in this level, you are going to learn both sarf and also nahu. Now, now let us look at the topic. الدرس الرابع الأفعال المجردة والمزيدة. So this is about the fi'l, الأفعال. So of course in grammar you have learned فعل ماض past tense, فعل مضارع present tense, فعل أمر imperative. Now, so these are all the fi'l, but there is another kind of distinction when it comes to fi'l. So we call it fi'l, al-fi'lu, or al-af'al al-mujarrada. Al-mujarrada, or we simply call it fi'l mujarrad, fi'lun mujarrad, and another one is af'al mazida. Okay, والمزيدة, or we call it fi'lun mazid. So what is this fi'l mujarrad and also fi'l mazid? So literally mujarrad means there is no addition. There is no addition to the word. So that is called mujarrad. That is the literal meaning of the word mujarrad. Okay, but the word mazid, literally it means you will add several words. Okay, sorry, you will add several letters. There are additions to the word itself. So it is called mazid. So mujarrad, no additions. Mazid, with additions. Okay, so this is the literal meaning of mujarrad and also mazid. So fi'l, al-fi'l, they can be divided into these two groups. Okay, they can be divided into these two groups. First is fi'l mujarrad, where you don't have any additional letters. Okay, let me explain. What do we mean by additional letters? Okay, let us look at the first group of al-af'al al-mujarrada, or fi'l mujarrad. So in the first column, these are all the bold word. These are all the fi'l, and this fi'l, they are all the fi'l mujarrad, or al-af'al mujarrad. So al-af'al mujarrad, as I mentioned earlier, fi'l without any additional letters. So what does it mean here? It means that all letters in this fi'l, kha, ra, ja, they are the root words. And so these are the root letters. Sorry, these are the root letters, which means you cannot remove any of this. So when you transform this fi'l into other fi'l, for example, you transform it to fi'l mudari. Okay, what is mudari for kharaja? Anyone? Kharaja. What is the mudari?
يخرج.
Yakhruju. Okay, good, thank you. Kharaja, yakhruju. Now, if you look at the word yakhruju, we still have these three letters, kha, ra, jim. When we transform it to fi'l mudari, yakhruju, you still have the three letters. Okay, we don't remove any of these letters, or we don't add any additional letters to it. Okay, so this is what we mean by the root letters of the fi'l, kha, ra, jim. Okay, so for another example, when I transform it to another word, for example, I change to khuruj. Khuruj is another word which is taken from the fi'l kharaja. So if you look at the word khuruj, you still have this kha, ra, and also jim. So it means that these three letters, they are not removed. They are the original letters of the fi'l. Okay, so this is what we mean by fi'l mujarrad. Fi'l mujarrad is the fi'l that consists of original letters. Okay, there are no additional letters. And for the fi'l mujarrad, the minimum number for the fi'l mujarrad is 3 letters. So here you have 3-letter fi'l. So every time you see a 3-letter fi'l, kharaja, we call this fi'l mujarrad. Okay, where there is no additional letter. All of the fi'l are, all of the letters are what we call as the original letters, or huruf asliyah. Okay, so this is the what we call as af'al mujarrad. Naam. But if you look at al-af'al al-mazida, so mazid, as I have explained just now, mazid means there is an additional letter or several other additional letters added to the root word. So for example here, the root fi'l, the root word is kha, ri, kha, ra, and also jim. If you look at the next fi'l, the fi'l is now akhraja. You still see the kha, you still have the ra, you still have the jim. Okay, so these are the original huruf. But what we have here is an additional letter, which is alif in the beginning of the word. So now the fi'l, initially it was kharaja, now it becomes akhraja. So what we did here is we add this alif and we change the pattern of the fi'l. So now here, if you look at the fi'l kharaja, all with the fathah, kharaja, but here you have a sukun. So it means that the form of the pattern has been transformed as well. Okay, so this is what we call as the al-af'al al-mazida. So mujarrad, no additional letter. Mazid, you will see 1, 2, or 3 letters added to the fi'l. Now, when we change a fi'l from fi'l mujarrad, when they change from fi'l mujarrad to fi'l mazid by adding 1 letter, normally the meaning will be changed. So here we look at the first fi'l, kharaja. Kharajat tilmizu minal fasli. Kharaja bima'na to go out, went out. So the tilmiz, the student, went out of the classroom. So he went out of the classroom. Kharaja, okay, to go out. But when we change to akhraja, the meaning is now changed. The meaning is not to go out anymore. Akhraja is to take somebody out. Okay, you take somebody out of the classroom, for example. So here the mithal, the example, akhraja at-tilmiz. Again, the tilmiz, but it is not the tilmiz. It is not the tilmiz went out of the classroom. No, the tilmiz takes something out. So that is a new meaning. That is a new fi'l. At-tilmiz akhrajal qalam. The tilmiz, the student, he took out the qalam. He took out the pen from the haqibah, min al-haqibah, from the bag. Naam. So this is the fi'l mujarrad, and this is the fi'l mazid. Naam. So the importance of knowing mazid and mujarrad is previously when you want to look up for the meaning in the dictionary. In the dictionary, they will only list the root word. So for example, you want to find akhraja, you want to know the meaning of akhraja, you will never find this word in the dictionary. If you go to the letter alif, you will never see this akhraja. So how are you going to find the meaning of akhraja? You have to know, oh, this is additional, this is fi'l mazid, where you have additional letter. So you have to identify what is the root word. So the root word is kha, ra, jim. So you go to the dictionary, you look for kha, ra, jim, and they will give you a list of words that are derived from the word kharajim. So for example, they will say kharajim, kharaja, okay, this is the meaning. And then another word, akhraja, so they give you another meaning. So another mithal, kharaja, also taken from the word kharaja. Okay, so they will have another meaning as well. So this is why knowing whether the fi'l is, whether it is mujarrad or mazid is very important. Okay, that is one. Now we look at here the naw'u ziyada. So here it is just to explain the type of additions. Ziyada means addition. So what do you add to the root word? So here, as you can see here, kharaja, what do we add? So we add this letter, which is letter alif or hamza. It is better to call it hamza. Okay. So here they said the ziyada. What do we add to the fi'l is this, the hamza. Okay, hamza. So the hamza is called hamzatul qat'i. Hamzatul qat'i, to make it simple, hamzatul qat'i is the hamza, is the alif with this hamza. So this is called the hamzatul qat'i. Not just the normal alif, but the alif with this hamza. So this is called the hamza al-qat'i. And hamza al-qat'i also means that the hamza, when you read the hamza, you will always read the hamza. A, I, U. Okay, A, I, U. This is the opposite of another hamza. For example, in assalamu alaikum, this hamza alif. So this is also another hamza. But what happened if you add waw in the beginning? Do you still read wa assalamu alaikum? We don't read wa assalamu alaikum. We drop the hamza. Okay, we drop the a. We just say wassalam. So you don't read the hamza anymore. So this is not the hamza al-qata. Hamza al-qata means you have to read the hamza, okay, regardless of where it is in the sentence. Okay, you have always read the hamza. So this is just the meaning of hamza al-qata. But what is important here is what you add to the word is the hamza. It's the hamza fi awwalihi, in the beginning of the fi'l. Okay, so this is one example of fi'l mujarrad and also fi'l mazid. Now, we go through all the examples and then I will give you a formula. How do you recognize whether it is mazid or mujarrad, and what do you add to the letters, to the word. Now, We look at مثال الثاني. المثال الثاني دخل الرجل البنك. دخل الرجل البنك. نعم. So the man enters the bank. He entered the bank. نعم. The man entered the bank. دخل. So if you look at the فعل دخل, entered. So this is three-letter فعل. دخل. So as I have mentioned earlier, three-letter فعل is always the root word of the فعل. So dal is the original letter, or we call it the harf asli. Okay, harfun asliyun, original letter. Kha is also the original letter, and lam is also the original letter. So it is not an additional letter. So it means that the root word of this fi'l is dal, kha, lam. So this is fi'l mujarrad, okay, without any additional letter. But now we look at the next fi'l, adkhala. If you look at the fi'l adkhala, you still see the dal, kha, and lam, but now we have an additional letter which is alif. This is similar to the previous example, adkhala akhraja, where you add the alif or hamza, okay, where you add the hamza in the beginning of the fi'l. So now from dakhala it becomes adkhala. So the form is changed, and when the form is changed, most of the time the meaning will be changed as well. Dakhala, to enter, adkhala, to insert. Okay, you bring it, okay, inside, you insert something, then you say adkhala. So these are two different fi'l. Okay, adkhala. Adkhala al-abu al-athatha fil bayt. So the father he inserts, or he brings inside, he brought this athas. Asas is the furniture. So the father brought some furniture to the house, into the house. Fil bayti. Now, okay, so these are two different fi'l, where adkhala is fi'l mujarrad and adkhala is fi'l mazid. Now, okay, that is the first one. Number two, alima. Alima Muhammadun al-khabar. Muhammad knows he knew the news. Okay, alima bermakna to know. So Muhammad knew the khabar, news. Naam. So alima, three-letter fi'l. This is fi'l mujarrad, no additional letter. Now from the fi'l alima, we change it to allama. Allama. If you look at the fi'l allama, you have ain, you have lam, but do you see the shadda? Do you see this shadda? So what does this mean? This means that the lam, there are two lam. There are two lam, not just ain, lam, mim. This is actually ain, lam, and also mim. So these two lam, because they are similar, the same letter, lam and lam. So they combine these two. Therefore you have this shadda. So instead of writing alama, we combine this lam to this form. So you add the shadda, or we call it tad'if. Tad'if means you double the letter. So now the word alama, this is also four-letter fi'l. Ain, lam, another lam, and also mim, four-letter fi'l. So when it is four-letter fi'l, you have to check whether it is still mujarrad or whether it is a mazid. So how do you know whether it is mujarrad or mazid? Then you check ain, lam, mim. So here we can remove one of these letters, one of this lam. So in this case, we remove this lam. We remove the second lam. So you still have ain, lam, mim, which is similar to the first fi'l, alima. So this indicates that the word alama is derived from alima, where you add another letter. So here, it tells us that alima, this is mujarrad, but when it becomes alama, this is now mazid. Okay, this is now mazid, where you have additional letter. Naam. So alama, and the meaning is now changed. Alima, earlier alima means knew, he knew, but when you say alama, the meaning is he, alama means to teach. So he taught, Muhammad taught lugha Arabiya. He taught lugha Arabiya. Naam. Okay, فهذا هو الفعل alima and also allama. So what do you add to the fi'l allama? If you look at the na'u ziyada, what do we add here is at-tad'if. What is tad'if? At-tad'if is where you double the letter. So as we mentioned just now, the letter lam, ain lam, the original fi'l is just ain lam mim. Ain lam mim, but now we double this lam. So you have two lam, ain, lam, mim. So this doubling process is called as tad'if. So here we don't add any specific letter, we double the middle letter. Okay, if it is lam, you add another lam. If it is, for example, dal, you add another dal. They are of the same letter. Now, so this is what it is meant by at-tad'if. Okay, another method. Qadima. Qadima. Al-haju min Makkah. The Hajj, the pilgrim, he came. Qadima. Qadima bermakna to come. So he came from Makkah. So he came from Makkah. Now, Qadima min Makkah. Okay, so 3-letter fi'il. This is fi'il mujarrad. No additional letter. Mujarrad. Now, qaddama. If you look at the word qaddama, you still have the qaf, dal, and mim. But what do you have here? You have a shadda. You have a shadda. This is similar to the fi'il allama. What do you mean by shadda here? Shadda here indicates that the letter dal is now is double. So actually you have 2 dal. Qaddama, not just qadima. So initially it was written like this. Qaddama. Qaddama. So what did we do here is we double the middle letter, which is the letter dal. Qaf dal, you add another dal. So now this is fi'lun mazid, where we double. Okay, we double the middle letter. Tad'if. Now, so when we change the form from qadima to qaddama, the meaning, as I said, it will also be changed. Qadima, came. Qaddama is to present. You see, the meaning is now different. Qaddama al-muhadiru mawdu'ahu. The lecturer presented his topic. Okay, the lecturer presented his topic. So qadima, come, to come, and qaddama, to present. 2 different fi'il, but they are originated from the same root word. Now, right. Another fi'il. Qabila. Qabila Allahu taubatal abdi. Qabila, 3-letter fi'il. So obviously it is fi'lun mujarrad. Nah, qabila bermakna accept. So Allah, qabila Allahu taubatal abdi. Allah accepted the taubah, the repentance of his servant. Now, Allah has accepted the taubah of his servant, qabila. From the word qabila, it can be changed to this pattern. Now you have qabala. Qabala. If you look at the word qabala, you still have the letter qaf, ba, and also the letter lam. But we have an additional letter. We have an additional letter, which is the letter alif in the middle. So this additional letter tells us that this fi'il is no longer fi'il mujarrad. Okay, this is now fi'lun mazid, where the additional letter is the letter alif. Alif. So this alif is the additional letter. Now, so now this is fi'lun mazid, and the meaning is now different. The meaning is changed. Qabila, accept. Qabala, meet. So qabala rajulu sadiqahu fil mahatta. The man met his friend in the mahatta, in the station. Mahatta is a station. Mahattatu al-hafila, station bus. You can see that. Mahattatul qitar, train station. Now, faqabala fi'lun mazid. Sorry, fi'lun mazid. Another misal, tabi'a. Tabi'a Yaqubu ustazahu. Tabi'a, 3-letter fi'il. So this is fi'il mujarrad. Tabi'a bermakna follow. Yaqub followed his ustaz. Tabi'a Yaqubu ustazahu. So he followed his ustaz, his teacher. Now the fi'il is changed to taba'tu. Taba'tu. So here, please ignore the last ta. Please ignore this ta. We just focus on the first 4 words, which is ta, ba, and also ain. Taba'a. Okay, so taba'a. Taba'a is taken from the fi'il tabi'a. Tabi'a, follow. Taba'a means, okay, what does it mean? Taba'atu darsa, so the meaning is still to follow, but this is not to follow a person. It means that you follow the lesson. Okay, so this is a bit different from tabi'a. Tabi'a, where you follow somebody, you say tabi'a. So taba'atu, you follow the lesson, you did not miss anything from the lesson. So we say taba'a. So the meaning has also been changed. Okay, what do you add to the fi'il? You have the ta, Ta is the original letter, ba is the original letter, ain is also the original letter. So the additional letter here is the letter alif. Okay, the letter alif. So here they said the additional letter is also the letter alif. Alif. Okay, so that is for the fi'il taba'a. Taba'a. Now in the jumlah, in the sentence, they say taba'tu. So the last ta, this is a different word. This is not part of the fi'il. This is not part of the fi'il. This is to say I followed. Okay, I followed the lesson. So the ta here is not part of the fi'il, for we don't consider it as an additional letter. The additional letter is only the letter alif. Okay, taba. Nah, taba. Okay, so far any question before I continue? Any question? Do you understand now what does it mean by mujarrad and what does it mean by mazid? Any question? No? Okay. So if there's no question, Farah, any question?
No.
Okay, no. Right. All right. If there is no question, we continue. We continue with the next example. The next example is dafa'a. Dafa'a rajulu si'ral bada'i. Dafa'a three-letter fi'il. So again, this is fi'lun mujarrad. Dafa'a bimakna pay. Pay. Okay, to pay is dafa'a. Dafa'a rajulu si'ral bada'i. The man paid the price of the goods. We have learned this word, si'ra and bada'i, in yesterday's lesson. Yeah, and also the fi'il dafa'a as well. Yes. So the man paid the price of the goods. Na'am, dafa'a. So from the fi'il dafa'a, now it is transformed to another fi'il which is in dafa'a. So again, ignore the last ta. Ignore the last ta because this is additional. This is not part of the fi'il. The fi'il is now in dafa'a. Alif, nun, dal, fa, and also ain. In dafa'a. So if you look at the fi'il in dafa'a, you have the letter dal. Dal is here. Fa, yes, fa is here. Ain is also here. So the root word is dal, fa, and also ain. So now we have two additional letters. So in previous example, you only have one additional letter, but now we have two, which are alif and also nun in dafa'a. Okay, so these are the two additional letters, and since you have additional letters, we call it fi'lun mazid. So these are the two additional letters, alif or hamzah, hamzah and nun. So here, this is the hamzah and this is the nun. Now, and the meaning is, of course, is changed. Now the word in dafa'a is no longer bimakna to push. In dafa'a means he moved quickly. Okay, he moved quickly. So that is the meaning of in dafa'a. So what moved quickly? Sayyara. The car moved quickly. So the word sayyara, since this is mu'annas, that is why you see you have this ta. So this ta is just to be used together with a mu'annas fa'il, mu'annas word. So that is why it becomes in dafa'at. But the additional letter here, we don't include this ta. It is only alif and also nun. In dafa'ati sayyaratu. So the car, it moved quickly. Fintilaqiha, when it is driven. When somebody drive the car, suddenly the car moves rapidly. So it is meant by in dafa'a. Okay, in dafa'a. Nah. So it moves rapidly. In dafa'at as-sayyara fi intilaqiha. Another fi'il, kasara. Three-letter fi'il. So obviously three-letter fi'il is fi'lun mujarrad. Kasara bimana to break something, you call it, you say kasara. Kasara al-waladu az-zujaj. The boy broke the glass. Zujaj is the glass. The glass, like the glass of your window, that is called zujaj. Kasara al-waladu zujaj. So the boy broke the glass. Naam, zujaj. Now from the fi'il kasara, it is transformed to in kasara, where you have kasra. Okay, for the letter hamzah, you have a kasra. So we read in kasara. In kasara. If you look at in kasara, you have kaf, sin, ra, which are the original huruf. Kaf, sin, ra. So now what we have here is we have two additional letters, which are alif and also nun, similar to the previous example, in kasara. Since you have additional letters, this fi'l is called fi'lun mazid. Fi'lun mazid. Mazid with two letters. And the meaning is a change a bit. Kasara, when you break something, somebody breaks something, you say kasara. In kasara is broken. So here, azujaju in kasara, the glass is broken. Okay, you don't mention the fa'il, the person who did it anymore. So the glass is broken. Now, okay, fi'il in kasara, fi'il mazid. Next example, next misal, jama'a al-waladu nuquda. Jama'a al-waladu nuqud. Jama'a three letter fi'il, fi'lun mujarrad. Then the meaning is collect. Okay, collect. So jama'a al-waladu, the boy collected the money. Nuqud. Nuqud means money. Nuqud. Now, the boy collected the money. Ijtama'a. Now we have a different fi'il. But if you look at the fi'il, you will see jim here. You will see mim, and you will also see ain. So this indicates that the word ijtama'a comes from the word jim, mim, ain. So now you have two additional letters as well, which are alif and ta in the middle. Alif and also ta. So it becomes ijtama'a. And the meaning is now changed. Jama'a is to collect. Ijtama'a is to meet. You meet somebody or you gather with someone, you say ijtama'a. Ijtama'al asatizatu fil qa'ati. The teachers, jama' ustaz, the teachers, they gathered in the hall. Qa'a bimakna hall. So they have a meeting. They had a meeting in the hall. You say ijtama'a. They gathered or they had a meeting, you say ijtama'a. So these are two different fi'l. Okay, because the pattern or the form has been changed. Now, ijtama'a. So the additional letters here are hamza, ba, and ta. Hamza and ta. Hamza and also ta. Now, another misal, qaruba. Qaruba talibu minal maskan. Qaruba, three letter fi'l, fi'lun mujarrad. Qaruba means near. He is near. He is near. He is near. Now, so we say qarubat talibu minal maskan. The student is near to the maskan. Maskan is the place where somebody stays. You call it maskan. For example, your mahalla, you can call it maskan. That is the place where people stay. Maskan. Okay, so maskan is a general term for a place where people stay. It can be anything. It can be a house. It can be anything. You call it maskan. Now, maskan. Qarubat talibu minal maskan. So in this sentence, we just translate it as the hostel. Now, the boy or the student is near to the maskan. Now, qaruba minal maskan. He approach it. He is approaching it. Now from the fi'l qaruba, it is changed to iqtaraba. Iqtaraba. You still have the qaf, ra, and ba, but you have additional letters alif and ta. Okay, iqtaraba. So now this is fi'l mazid. This is fi'l mazid. Iqtaraba sahibul baiti min duyufihi. And the meaning is similar to qaruba. Is more or less similar, means to be near, to come near to. You can say to come near to, iqtaraba. Okay, qarubat talibu, to be near to, iqtaraba, to come near to. Iqtaraba sahibul baiti min duyufihi. The owner of the house. Sahib bermakna owner of the house. Iqtaraba. So he came near to his guest. Duyuf, jama' kalimah daifun, guest. So he came near to his guest. Now, so this is fi'l mazid. Now, this is fi'l mujarrad. Another fi'l hadama. Hadama. Hadama al-amilu surah. Hadama bermakna to destroy. Hadama. Three letter fi'l. This is fi'l mujarrad. Hadama al-amilu. Al-amil, the worker, destroyed the sur. Sur, it can be a wall, it can be a fence. That is sur. So you can say the wall, or the fence. Hadama al-amilu as-sur. Now, that is the fi'l mujarrad. And from the fi'l hadama, we can have this fi'l tahadama. Tahadama. Ignore the last ta. Ignore the last ta. So the fi'il is tahaddama. Tahaddama. If you look at the fi'il tahaddama, you still have the ha, dal, and also mim. Ha, dal, mim, but you have two additional letters. The first letter is the letter ta, and the second letter is here, where they double the dal. They double the letter dal. So the additional letter here is, as in the second example, we call it tad'if. Tad'if. So it is ta and it is tad'if, where you double the dal. So here, if you look at the type of idafa here, they say ta and tad'if. Tad'if is you double the letter. So tahaddama. Tahaddama, and the meaning is, if when we say hadama, somebody destroyed the sur, but tahaddama, it is like it is destroyed. It has been destroyed. Tahaddamat al-imaratu wal mabani. So the imarat, imarat is buildings. Mabani, imarat and mabani both means buildings. Okay, the difference is that imarat is the high buildings and mabani any building. Any building you call it mabani. House is mabani. Al-imarat, like the apartment and the condominium, we call them al-imarat. Okay. Tahaddamatil imaratu wal mabani. So they are destroyed. They were destroyed. Bisababi az-zilzal. Bisabab, because of zilzal, earthquake. Earthquake is called zilzal. Zilzal. This is the word that you see in Surah Iza zulzilatil ardu zilzalaha. That is the earthquake that is going to happen on the day of Yaumul Qiyamah. Fa tahaddama fi'lun mazid. Nam fi'lun mazid. The next example, fi'il fataha. Fataha, three letter fi'il, fi'il mujarrad. Mujarrad. Fataha al-abul baba. Father open the door. Now, three letter fi'il. Now, the fi'il is changed to tafataha. Again, ignore the last ta. So this ta, okay, I go back to the previous example. This ta is why? Is because it is used with a mu'annas word. That is why you have the ta. Okay, so the same goes to tafataha. The fi'il is actually tafataha. Tafataha, where you have ta, the first ta as an additional letter, and you have this tad'if as well. We double this middle ta. So you have two additional letters, tafataha, and the meaning is now changed. Fataha, open. Tafatahat al-azharu, the flowers were blooming. The flowers bloomed. Were blooming sabahan, in the morning. So the meaning is now changed. Tafataha. And why do you have this ta? Because the next word is al-azhar. Al-azhar, flowers. This is a jama' word. So, and every time you have a jama' word for object, we consider it as mu'annas word. That is why you see the ta. So we say tafatahat al-azharu. Fatafatahat, this is fi'il mazid. Now, we go to the next word, which is ghafara. Ghafara, three letter fi'il. So this is fi'il mujarrad. Ghafara, Allahu at-tawabin. Allah forgave. So ghafara is to forgive. Allah forgave the repentance. Tawabin, those who do tawbah, we call him tawab. So tawbah means those who do lots of tawbah, not just one time. So he repents many times, several times a day. So you call it tawabin. Inna Allaha yuhibbu tawabin. Okay, Allah love who repents always. Nah. So at-tawab, at-tawabin, to forgive, ghafara. So from the fi'il ghafara, which is fi'il mujarrad, we can change this to fi'il mazid, istaghfara, where you still have the ghin, fa, and ra, but now we add three letters to the fi'il. You add alif or hamza, you add sin, and you add ta. So now it becomes istaghfara, and the meaning is now changed. Ghafara, to forgive, istaghfara, to seek for forgiveness. So we say istaghfara al-mu'minuna rabbahum. The believers, they sought for forgiveness from their Lord. Istaghfara al-mu'minuna rabbahum. Okay, so this is the mazid and this is the mujarrad. So they are from the same root word. And the additional letters here are hamza or alif here, hamza, sin, and also ta. Hamzah, sin, and also ta. Nah, so ghafara becomes istaghfara. The next fi'l, amila. Amila. Amila, three-letter fi'l. So this is fi'lun mujarrad. Three-letter fi'l, fi'l mujarrad. Work, to work. Okay, or to do. To work or to do, depends on the context. Ahmad amila wajibatihi. Ahmad did his works, his wajibat, his duties, his obligation. You call it wajibat, something which he has to do, wajibat. So Ahmad did his duties. Now, wajibatihi. Amila, three-letter fi'l. So from the word amila, here now we have ista'mala. We have ista'mala, and ista'mala you have alif or hamzah, sin, and ta as the additional letters. Okay, where ain, mim, lam, these are the original huruf, original letters. Ista'mala, the meaning is different from amila. Amila, to do. Ista'mala is to use. To use. At-talibu ista'mala al-qalama lil-kitaba. The talib used the pen for writing. He used the pen for writing. So the meaning is now different from amila. Amila fi'lun mujarrad and ista'mala fi'lun mazid. Naam. Okay, so these are the mujarrad and mazid. And now we go to the next example, zalzala. Zalzala. If you look at this fi'l, zalzala, we have 4 letters. Okay, this is different from previous example. Previous example, you have 3. Ain, mim, lam, ghin, fa, ra. But now you have zal, lam, lam. So now we ask the question, are these 4 letters are the original letters, or do we have additional letters? Okay, so if we look at the dictionary, the word zalzala, this is actually the original letter, the original huruf. You cannot remove zai, you cannot remove lam, you cannot remove zai, you cannot remove lam. Because if you remove any of these letters, so it is now, it will be meaningless. You cannot understand what does it mean. La zala, there is no meaning. Zala za, there is no such word. Zalala, no. Lazada, lazada is no different. Okay, so zalzala, this is this is mujarrad. This is mujarrad. Even though it is now 4 letters, but all of the letters are original huruf. So we say this is fi'lun mujarrad. Okay, not a fi'l mazid. Zalzala means to shake, to make it trembling. Okay, to shake, to make it, to have an earthquake. Zalzalallahu al-arda, arda. Allah shook the earth. Allah made the earth tremble. So that is the meaning of zalzala. Okay, Allah made the earth trembling. Zalzala. Now, from the fi'l zalzala, it can be transformed to tazalzala. Tazalzala, again, remove this last ta. The fi'l is tazalzala. And tazalzala means is trembling, or it trembles. Trembles. So here, tazalzalatil ardu, the earth trembled. Now, the earth is having an earthquake. We say tazalzalat al-ardu. Sorry, was having an earthquake. This is fi'l madi. Tazalzalat al-ardu. So tazalzala al-ardu and zalzala, this is to make it tremble. And this is, since these are all original huruf, this is fi'l mujarrad. But when we look at tazalzala, we have this additional letter ta. So ta is an additional letter. So this is fi'lun mazid. Fi'lun mazid. Nah. And the last example, dahraja. Dahraja, 4 letters. Even though it is a 4-letter fi'l, but all of these letters are original letters, original huruf. So since they are all original huruf, we say this is fi'lun mujarrad. Dahraja means to roll something. You say dahraja. Dahraja al-akhul kurata, the brother, he rolled the ball. He rolled the ball. Dahraja al-kurata. Okay, 4-letter original fi'l, original huruf. So this is fi'lun mujarrad. When now we have tadaharaja. Again, remove the last ta. The last ta is because this is mu'annas, so we take out the ta. Tadaharaja. Tadaharaja means rolls. So here, the hijara, the rock rolls, rolled from fawqil jabal, mean fawqil jabal, from the top of the hill. From the top of the hill. Fawq, top, hill, and jabal is hill. Tadahrajatil hijara. So the rock rolled down from the top of the hill. So if you look at the word tadahraja, so here we see an additional letter which is ta. Additional letter. So we say that, oh, this is fi'lun mazid. Fi'lun mazid. Naam. Okay. Any questions? Any questions so far? Mazid, mujarrad, mazid, mujarrad. All right. So if there's no question, we continue. Now we go back to all of these examples. If you look at the examples from number 1, kharaja, from the first one, kharaja, until amila. Until amila. So these are all fi'il of 3 huruf, 3-letter fi'il. 3-letter fi'il. So since amila, 3-letter fi'il, ghafara, since they are 3-letter fi'il, we call them fi'lun sulasi. Okay, so take this term. We call it sulasiyu. Sulasi. Sulasi is from the word salasa. Salasa, which means 3. Sulasi means the fi'il is having 3 letters. So we call it sulasi. Okay, so that is the meaning of sulasi. And if you look at the last 2 examples, zalzala and dakhraja, so here we have 4 letters. Now we call it rubai. Rubai. Okay, so these are the 2 terms that you need to know as well. So when we talk about fi'il sulas, fi'il mazid, and fi'il mujarrad, we will talk about this sulasi and also rubai. So sulasi again means, it refers to 3 letters, 3-letter fi'il, and rubai refers to 4-letter fi'il. That is about sulasi and rubai. Now, we also in the same time, we also have this mazid and also, mujarrad and also mazid. So sulasi can be divided into 2. You can say, you can have sulasi mujarrad and you can have sulasi mazid. Okay, so what is sulasi mujarrad? So you can divide this sulasi into 2 as well. So sulasi mujarrad and sulasi mazid. Sulasi mujarrad, as we have learned earlier, mujarrad means there is no any additional letter. No additional letter. All are original huruf. So sulasi mujarrad is referring to all these fi'il. These are all 3-letter fi'il and they are all mujarrad fi'il. So we call it sulasi mujarrad. As simple as that. Sulasi 3 letters, mujarrad, no additional huruf. So these are all examples of sulasi mujarrad. What about sulasi mazid? Sulasi mazid, again, sulasi 3-letter fi'il, mazid with additional letters. These are the sulasi mazid. From the first example, akhraja, until ista'mala, until here. Why sulasi? Because the origin of the fi'il is a 3-letter fi'il. Ista'mala, this is from ain mim la, 3-letter fi'il. But why do we call it mazid? Because you have additional letters. So this is why we call them sulasi mazid. So again, I repeat, sulasi refers to the 3-letter fi'il. Mujarrad means without any additional letters. Mazid with additional letters. Okay, so these are all sulasi, mujarrad, and mazid. And rubai, the last 2 examples, these are the rubai fi'il. Fi'il rubai. So again, rubai can also be divided into rubai mujarrad and also rubai mazid. The same as sulasi. So you can have rubai mujarrad and rubai mazid. So rubai mujarrad, 4-letter fi'il without any additional letters. So these are the 2 examples. Zalzala. Zalzala, 4-letter fi'il with no additional letters. So this is rubai mujarrad. This is also rubai mujarrad. And rubai mazid is this. Tazalzala and also tadahraja, where the origin of the fi'il is 4 letters. That is why we call it rubai and mazid, because you have additional letter in the beginning of the fi'il. So that is what we call as the rubai mazid, rubai mujarrad and also rubai mazid. Nah. Okay. So far, any questions? All right. Okay. Next, we look at this al-qaida. Look at the qaida. Okay, before we go to the notes that I have given in the link in the WhatsApp, we look at the qaida. Then we look at the notes. Now, al-qaida says qaida. The rule says al-usul al-af'al, the origins of the fi'l. Usul al-af'al, the origins of the fi'l. So this is referring to the letters. Okay, the letters, the original letters of the fi'l. Imma is either salasati ahruf, either 3 letters, salasati ahruf. This is what we call sulasi just now. This is what we call sulasi just now. 3-letter huruf, sulasi. Aw arba'atu ahruf, or 4 letters, or what we call as the rubai. Okay, so this is to explain that fi'l is either sulasi or rubai, 3 letters or 4 letters. Okay, the origin of the fi'l. There is no 5-letter fi'l. If you see a 5-letter fi'l, one of the letter must be an additional letter. If you see a 6-letter fi'l, 2, at least 2. Sorry, 3 of the letters must be additional letters. Okay, so it is either 3 or 4 letters. Number 2, وَقَدْ تُزَادُ فِي الْفِعْلِ أَحْرُفٌ مُعَيَّنَةٌ. They said, قَدْ, sometimes it will be added. Tuzad means to be added. Sometimes it will be added to the fi'l several huruf, specific huruf muayyana. So there are some specific huruf can be added to the fi'l to change from one meaning to another. Okay, to change from fi'l mujarrad to fi'l mazid, you can add certain huruf. There are certain huruf. Not all huruf. You cannot use all the huruf in alif bata. No, only specific huruf. Okay. So these additional letters, imma, it can be either fi awwalil fi'li, in the beginning of the fi'l, awwalil fi'li, aw fi wasatihi, or in the middle of the fi'l. So as you have seen in the previous example, you can have the additional letter in the beginning of the fi'l or in the middle, okay, of the fi'l. Now, this is about the additional huruf. Now, and raqam salasa, waqad tuzadu fil fi'li. So this is similar to the previous jumlah. Qad tuzad, sometimes it is added to the fi'l bi harfin wahid, with 1 letter. So sometimes you see 1 additional letter. Aw harfaini, or 2 additional letters. Okay, sometimes you have 2 additional letters. Aw salatati ahruf, or 3 letters, 3 huruf. So you can add 1, you can add 2, you can add 3. Okay, so this is about this is about the additional letters, similar to number 2. 2 and 3 is about additional letters. Now, this is number 4. And number 4, raqam arba'ah, ahrufu ziyada. Okay, so now they want to tell you what are these additional letters. Ahrufu ziyada, ahruf, letters, ziyada, additional. So what are these additional letters that you sometimes that you will see in the fi'l? Here, the additional letters are sin. The first letter that you will see is sin. Sin. Alif or hamzah. Sorry, this is hamzah. Sin, hamzah, lam, ta, mim, waw, nun, ya, ha, alif. So there are 10 letters. 10 letters. Wa tujma'u fi. So these letters, tujma'u. Tujma'u, they can be combined. Fi sa'altumuniha, in this phrase. Sa'altumuniha. So sa'altumuniha is actually this is just a way to memorize all of these letters. Sin, sin, alif, sin, hamzah, lam, ta, mim, waw, nun, ya, ha. Sa'altumuniha. Sa'altumuniha, and literally it means sa'altum, you ask me about it. You ask me about it. Okay, so these are the 10 letters that can be added to a word. Okay, but if you look at the examples again, you will not see, you will only see some of these letters. You will sin, yes, we have the letter sin in the as the additional letter in the fi'l. Hamzah, yes, we have that. Lam, I don't think we have lam in the previous example, right? We don't see this lam. Ta, yes, we have ta. Ta, we have ta. Mim, I don't think so. We don't see this mim. So what does it mean? It means that these are the huruf ziyadah. These are the additional letters, but not specific to our lesson today. Not specific to this topic. So these are the additional letters that you can add to other topics as well, to an Arabic word as an additional letter. So with that, we just ignore this part because this will include other lesson as well. So I don't want you to be confused. Why I don't see any ya, for example? Why I don't see any ha? Okay, so you will confuse. So because of that, please ignore this one. So I will give you another method or another way. How can you differentiate? How can you know whether the fi'il is mujarrad or the fi'il is mazid? There is another way, right? There is another way. Okay. So how do you know whether it is mazid or mujarrad? Now you can refer to the notes that I gave you earlier. Refer to this one. Yes, refer to these two. Okay. Okay. Now, this is considered as a different lesson, but useful to understand mazid and mujarrad. Okay. Now, this lesson is called Awzanu al-Fi'li. Awzanu al-Fi'li. Awzan al-Fi'li. Awzan. So what is this word? Awzan. Awzan, this is a jama' from the fi'il waznun. Waznun. Al-waznu. Or sometimes we just call it wazan. Okay? Al-waznu is a very important concept in a sarf. Actually, it is the core concept. So you will never understand the whole topic of sarf if you do not understand this wazan. So what is wazan? Wazan, literally, it means weight. Weight. So for example, I ask you, ma waznuka, what is your weight? 50 kilograms, 60 kilograms. That is the literal meaning of the word wazan. But in the lesson of as-sarf, wazan is, normally I translate it as form or pattern, the pattern of the word. So Arabic word, you will have patterns. Okay, you will see, oh, this group of words, they belong to this pattern, one pattern. This group of words, they belong to another patterns, or we call it, they belong to another wazan. So basically, wazan is the pattern of the fi'il. And wazan, so when we talk about wazan or we talk about the pattern, we will talk about three important huruf, three important letters, which are the letter fa, ain, and the letter lam. Three letters. Fi'il. Okay, the three letters fa, ain, lam to represent original huruf. Again, I repeat. This wazan, normally we will use three letter fi'il to represent the original huruf. So fa, ain, lam is representing the original huruf. Other than fa, other than ain, other than lam, most of the time they are the additional letters. Okay, so let us look at the example. Just we look at the example here. Al-awzan. Al-awzan, which is the wazan just now, the fa, ain, lam, the pattern of the fi'il. So here we look at the wazan for fi'il madi. Fi'il madi. And all the fi'il that we have seen, okay, in our lesson earlier, these are all fi'lun madi. Okay, these are all fi'lun madi. For both fi'il mujarrad and also fi'il mazid. These are all fi'il madi. Okay, there is no fi'il mudari at all. These are all fi'il madi. So that is why in this note I have this fi'lun madi. Okay, fi'lun madi. So let us look at the first wazan or the first pattern of fi'il madi. So for fi'il madi, you will see this. Okay, these are the patterns of fi'il madi that you will see. The first one is fa'ala. Fa'ala, where you have three letter fi'il, three letters, fa, ain, and lam. So as we have learned earlier, if it is three letter, it is always fi'lun mujarrad. And since it is three letter, we call it sulasi mujarrad. Okay, so these are the wazan for fi'il sulasi mujarrad. The first wazan for fi'il madi is fa'ala. And the example is here. The example, so these are the amthila, the examples. Fi'il madi, zahaba. So if please compare. Compare this zahaba to fa'ala. Fa, ain, lam. Zahaba. So compare these two words. Fa, sorry, we take the fi'il first. Zahaba. And we take the fi'il. Fa, sorry, we take the wazan. Okay, we take the wazan. This is the fi'il. This is the wazan. How do you read the wazan? How do you read the wazan? So here, the wazan reads fa'ala. So we say fa'ala. So if the wazan is fa'ala, the fi'il must follow the wazan in terms of the pattern. So here, the fa is represented by dal, zal. The ain is referring to the ha, and the lam is referring to the ba. Okay, so when you have this referring to fa, ain, lam, you know that, oh, these are all the original huruf. Why? Because they are referring to the fa, ain, lam of the wazan. Okay, these are the original huruf. Next, how do you read this fa? Oh, it is with a fatha. Zal must have a fatha as well. So we read it za. Ain also with a fatha. Therefore, ha is also with a fatha. So we say zaha. And the last letter, which is lam, we read it with a fatha as well. Therefore, the ba must be read with a fatha. So we say zahaba. So therefore, the fi'il zahaba, if I ask you, what is this? What is the wazan for fi'il zahaba? What is the wazan for fi'il zahaba? So we say that, the wazan for fi'il zahaba is fa'ala. It is fa'ala. Nah. Sorry. Nah. Okay. This is for fi'il madi. Okay, fi'il for fi'il madi. And what about fi'il mudari? What about fi'il mudari? Yes, fi'il mudari, there is wazan for fi'il mudari as well. So, for the first wazan just now, fa'ala, if the fi'il madi is fa'ala, the fi'il mudari is yaf'alu. The fi'il mudari is yaf'alu. So, for example, zahaba just now, zahaba, as I have put it here, zahaba. What is the mudari for zahaba? The mudari is yazhabu. What is the wazan for yazhabu? The wazan for yazhabu is yaf'alu. So again, okay, let us do this just like what we did to zahaba just now. Now we say fa'ala is fi'il madi. What is the mudari? The mudari is yaf'alu. Yaf'alu. So since it is yaf'alu, we want to know what is the mudari for yazhabu. So as we have done earlier, you link the wazan to the original huruf. So this, again, this fa is referring to zal. So fa must be referring to the letter zal. And ain is referring to ha. So ain must refer to the letter ha. And lam is referring to the letter ba. So lam here must refer to the letter ba. So these are the root word, the fi'il. And what do we have here? We have a ya. And this ya is because when you use it in the mudari form, of course, you will have ya in the beginning of the fi'il. Yazhabu. Sometimes you have ta, tazhabu. Sometimes you have alif, azhabu. Sometimes you have nun, nazhabu. Okay, but we only take one letter, which is the letter ya. Okay, to make it easy, to make it simple, we just take one letter ya. So when you add the ya, when you add a ya here, for add the fi'il, you have also to add the ya, because now it is in the mudari form. Okay, now you have the fi'il. How do you read the fi'il? Read the wazan. The wazan is yaf'alu. So the fi'il is must follow the wazan. So we read yazhabu. Okay, so this is the example of wazan and fi'il. Okay, the example of wazan and fi'il. So when I say zahaba, what is the wazan? Oh, the wazan is fa'ala. Any additional letter? No, because you only have fa, ain, lam, original huruf. When it is yazhabu, what is the wazan? Yaf'alu. Any additional letters? Of course, you see this ya, but this is not the additional letter that we mean in mazid or mujarrad, because this is now in the mudari form. So if you want to know whether it is mazid or mujarrad, do not look at the mudari. You need to look at the fi'il madhi. So fi'il madhi is very important. Okay, don't look at the mudari, don't look at the amar. Because if you look at mudari, obviously you will see additional letters and it will make you confused. Okay, if you look at amar, you will have additional letters as well. No, we do not want to look at mudari, we only want to look at madhi. So if you have a fi'il mudari, you need to return it to the madhi form. So what is madhi for mudari? Yazhabu, yaf'alu. What is madhi for yaf'alu? So by knowing the wazan, you will be able to find the madhi of the fi'il. So the wazan yazhabu is yaf'alu. You refer to the table. Then the table will say yaf'alu. Zahaba yazhabu fa'ala yaf'alu. Okay, so this is the first example, fa'ala yaf'alu. Okay, any questions so far before I continue? Any soal? So what is the wazan for zahaba? If I say zahaba, what is the wazan?
Fa'ala.
Fa'ala. If I say
Fa'ala.
qara'a, what is the wazan?
Fa'ala.
When I say ja'ala, what is the wazan?
Fa'ala.
Fa'ala as well. See? So everything every time we use this fa ain lam as the wazan, okay, to know the pattern of the fi'il. Okay, good. Now, when I say yaqra'u, can you guess what is the wazan? Yaqra'u.
Yaf'alu.
Yaf'alu. Okay, yaf'alu. Okay, we will see other example and we will do exercises so that you will understand this wazan very well, inshallah. Now, so that is the first one. We say that the first one is fa'ala and the mudari, or the wazan of the mudari is yaf'alu. Fa'ala yaf'alu, and the example of zahaba yazhabu. Okay, another example is qara'a yaqra'u. Qara'a yaqra'u. Okay, so this is the first wazan. Now we look at the second wazan. The second wazan, it is also fa'ala, similar to the first one. It is also fa'ala. But if you look at the mudari is not yaf'alu. So now fa'ala, the mudari is yaf'ilu. So what does it mean? It means that if the fi'il is of the wazan fa'ala, the mudari can be either yaf'alu or yaf'ilu. And in fact, if you look at number 3, fa'ala, it is the same wazan, fa'ala, but the mudari is now yaf'ulu. You see the difference? Yaf'alu, here the ain is with a fathah, the ain with a kasrah. Now the third one, the ain with a dhamma. But for the fi'il madhi, it is still the same wazan. So it means that when a fi'il is of the wazan fa'ala, the mudari is either yaf'alu, yaf'ilu, yaf'ulu. So how do you know which one is which? Whether it is fa'ala yaf'alu, fa'ala yaf'ilu, or fa'ala yaf'ulu. Now, for the 3-letter fi'il, you need to refer to qamus. You need to refer to dictionary. In the dictionary, they will tell you. Okay, especially Arabic dictionary, with all this harakat, with all this fathah, kasrah, dhamma, they will tell you whether the fi'il is yaf'ilu, yaf'alu, or yaf'ulu. Okay, so here I just give you some examples. I give you some example. Fa'ala yaf'alu, the example is zahaba yazhabu. We don't say zahaba yazhibu. We don't say zahaba yazhubu. Why not? Why not? Why not zahaba yazhibu? We have the wazan yaf'ilu, but why don't we read yazhibu? Why don't we read yazhubu? Why? Because in the dictionary, you will never find zahaba yazhibu. You will never find, the Arab will never say zahaba yazhubu. They only say zahaba yazhabu. So in the end, even though we have this pattern, this is only to guide you, to guide us, so we can guess. Okay, we can be more precise rather than by random guessing. So, but in the end, you have to refer to the dictionary to find the correct one. Okay, so this is one misal. Wazan number 2, fa'ala yaf'ilu. The example is jalasa yajlisu, sit down. To sit down, we say jalasa yajlisu. So this is fa'ala yaf'ilu. Why don't we read jalasa yajlasu as in the first wazan? Fa'ala yaf'alu, jalasa yajlasu. Or why don't we say fa'ala yaf'ulu, jalasa yajlusu? Why? Because the Arab, they will never say jalasa yajlusu or jalasa yajlasu. They will only say jalasa, and the mudhari is yajlisu. So refer to the dictionary. Right? So this is wazan number 2. And wazan number 3, fa'ala yaf'ulu. You look at the ain now is with a dhamma. And the example is dakhala yadkhulu. Dakhala yadkhulu. To enter. Dakhala yadkhulu. And why don't we read dakhala yadkhilu or dakhala yadkhalu? Again, in the qamus, it is only dakhala yadkhulu. So we stick with that. Alright? So even though you have this pattern, so in the end, you still need to refer to the dictionary. Alright? So this is for the fa'ala. So fa'ala, you have 3 mudari. Fa'ala yaf'alu, fa'ala yaf'ilu, fa'ala yaf'ulu. Now, next we have fa'ila. Fa'ila. The ain is with a kasrah. Fa'ila. So when the fi'il is fa'ila, for example, is la'iba. We don't say la'aba, we don't say la'uba. We say la'iba. What is the mudari? The mudari, it is either yaf'alu, or this, number 5, yaf'ilu. Okay, so you look at number 4 and number 5, the wazan is the same, fa'ila. But you have 2 options for mudari. First is yaf'alu, second is yaf'ilu. So which one is the correct one? Again, we need to refer to the dictionary. So for example, the fi'il la'iba, play. The mudari is la'iba, yal. So it is either yal abu or yal ibu. But which one is the correct one? Check in the qamus and you will see that the correct one is fa'ila yaf'alu. La'iba yal'abu. Right? Yal'abu. So this is the wazan number 4. Wazan number 5, again fa'ila, but the mudari is yaf'ilu. The example is hasiba yahsibu. Hasiba yahsibu is to consider, to think it as something, to consider, to think it as something, to calculate. That is hasiba. There are a few meanings of the word hasiba. Now, hasiba yahsibu. This is fa'ila yaf'ilu. So again, these are all 3-letter fi'il. Fi'il mujarrad sulasi. And the last wazan for fi'il sulasi mujarrad is fa'ula, where you have dhamma. The ain is with a dhamma, fa'ula. And this is very rare that you see fi'il with this fa'ula, with this pattern. Most of the fi'il that you see it's either fa'ala or fa'ila. Okay, but fa'ula we have a few of them. Okay, for example, hasuna. Hasuna means to good, to be good, to be good. He was good, we say hasuna. Hasuna. When it is fa'ula, the mudari is yaf'ulu. So here we don't have any other choices. It is always fa'ula yaf'ulu. So with that, when I say hasuna, what is the mudari? You just follow the wazan because there is no other option. You do not need to refer to the dictionary. Fa'ula yaf'ulu, hasuna yahsunu. Hasuna yahsunu. Okay, so these are the wazan for the sulasi mujarrad, for the 3-letter fi'il. Okay, but what is important, what is related to our lesson today is to know that, oh, these 3 letters are all original letters. Why? Because if you look at the wazan, you have these 3 fa, ain, lam. So confirm, these are the original letters and they are fi'il mujarrad. When you have fi'il mudari, as I mentioned just earlier, when you have mudari, it is a bit difficult for you to identify. Do you have additional letter or not? Because why? Because you have this ya in the beginning, and you do not know whether it is. You want to confirm whether it is fi'il mazid or mujarrad. You need to change it to fi'il madi. So yazhabu, what is the madi? Zahaba. Yajlisu, what is the madi? Jalasa. How do you know this is the madi? You can use this. You can use the wazan. Yaf'alu. If the mudari yaf'alu, the madi is fa'ala. Fa'ala. Or the madi could be this, fa'ila. Okay. So if the fi'il is yajlisu, what is the mudari? You refer to the wazan. Yaf'ilu. Yaf'ilu. You have 2. So the madi, it is either fa'ila or fa'ala. So regardless, you still have 3 letters. So now you can identify. You can identify whether it is mazid or mujarrad. This is for fi'il sulasi mujarrad, and these are the wazan. Only 6 of them. 6 of them. Okay, any questions? Any questions? Okay, baik. Okay, now we look at wazan, awzanul fi'li ar-rubai al-mujarrad, or better to say waznu, because it is only one. Waznul fi'li ar-ruba'il mujarrad. Now it is for the 4-letter fi'l mujarrad, 4 letters. So what is the wazan? There is only one wazan. There is only one wazan. The wazan is now fa'lala. The wazan is fa'lala, where you have fa, ain, lam, lam. So the lam and lam here, they represent the the original huruf. There is no additional huruf here, because these are the 4-letter fi'l, rubai. So the wazan is fa'lala. The example is what? Dahraja. To roll, right? To roll the ball, to roll the stone, and so on. So if you write the word dahraja, so identify the wazan. Dal is referring to the fa, ha is referring to the ain, ra is referring to the first lam, and jim is referring to the last lam. Okay, so this is the representation of the fi'l in terms of the wazan. And number 2, how do you read the fi'l? How do you read this? So we said fa la la. So now this must be dah ra ja. You just follow the wazan. Fa la la. Now the fi'l is dah ra ja. Okay, so that is how we read the 4-letter fi'l. So 4-letter fi'l, the wazan is always fa la la. I give you another fi'l. So please read. How do you read this word? So I give you a clue that this is a 4-letter fi'l, mujarrad. Sulasi mujarrad. Now, how do we read this?
Waswasa.
Waswasa. How do you know it is waswasa and not waswisa and not wuswus or waswus?
Because it's follow wazan.
Because I have given you the clue. I have given you the clue that this is a fi'l. Okay, this is the fi'l. And when it is a fi'l, you simply refer to the wazan of the fi'l in order for you to know, how do I read this word? Okay, you go to the wazan of the fi'l, or it is fa'lala. Therefore, this must be waswasa. Okay, you do not have any other option. You don't read wuswusa or wiswisa or waswas. Okay, because this is following the wazan of fi'l madhi. Good. Yes. If I give you another fi'l, zailam, and this is also another fi'l. How do you read this?
Zalzala.
Zalzala. Good, because fa'lala, so the fi'l is zalzala. So now you see, by knowing the wazan, you will be able to read the word. Okay, so later you do not have to depend on the fatha, kasra, dhamma anymore. That is why I said in the beginning of the class, the lesson of asar is actually important. This is part of the Arabic qawaid. Okay, Arabic qawaid. Now, the fi'l madhi is fa'lala, mudari is this. Yufa'lilu. Yufa'lilu. There is no other option. Fa'lala, yufa'lilu. So, dahraja, what is the mudari? Can you transform dahraja to the mudari form?
Yudahriju.
Yudahriju. Good. So, how do you know? Fa, you just write. Fa, this represent dal. Ain represent the ha. Lam represent ra. And another lam represent jim. And then here you have this ya. Ya, this is additional. This is the mudari letter. So you just write the ya. How do you read the word? You. Fa. Yudah. Ain. Yudah. Ri. Ju. So the word is yudah. Riju. So here we have the fi'l. Yudah. Riju. Okay. So next time when you see this, refer to the wazan. Then you know how to read the fi'l. Okay, so for dahraja, yudahriju. Okay, give me the mudari for this one. Waswasa.
Yuwaswisu.
Waswasa, the mudari is
Yuwaswisu.
yuwaswisu. Good. Yuwaswisu. Yuwaswisu. You don't have to refer to the dictionary anymore. Okay, immediately you know waswasa. The mudari must be yuwaswisu. Why? Because the wazan says fa'lala yufa'lilu. Okay. Yes, that is correct. Allazi yuwaswisu fi sudurin nas. That is, we always read in Surah An-Nas. Yuwaswisu. Okay, to whispers, to give us, to make us feel doubt. Okay, that is yuwaswis. Shaitan. Zalzala. What is mudari for zalzala?
Yuzalzilu.
Yuzalzilu. Good. Yuzalzilu. See, now you can read even though it is not having the harakat. Okay, good. So this is the Wasan al-fi'lu as-sulasi al-mujarrad. Wasan al-fi'li sulasi mujarrad. Okay. Any questions so far? Wasan al-sulasi mujarrad. Any questions? All right. Okay. So no question. Okay. Okay, we finish this with this one. So next week we can straight away do the exercises, because we have learned all of this wasan, and you will know what is the additional letter, what is the wasan, what is the mazid, what is mujarrad, and so on. Okay, now we go to al-awzan al-fi'li sulasi al-mazid. Awzan, the wasan for the fi'li sulasi mazid. Again, sulasi, 3-letter fi'il, but with additional letters. Mazid, so we call it mazid, 3 additional letters. Okay, so for awzan fi'l sulasi mazid, so here we have divided into, actually the wazan is more than, the awzan are more than what I have listed here. We have, here we have, if not mistaken, I have 3 more, but these 3 are very rare, and therefore we only focus on this. How many I have here? 9. So these are all the wazan that you need to know. And most of the fi'l that you see in Arabic is following this wazan. Okay, so now look at, so before that, okay, here from number 1 to number 3, this is mazid plus 1 letter, mazid plus 1 harf. If you look at the wazan here, you have fa, ain, lam. This is the root word, as we have seen earlier in fa, ain, lam, in the wazan of sulasi mujarrad, fa, ain, lam. But since you have this additional letter, so it becomes mazid. So here we have 1 additional letter. The second is wazan fa'ala, fa, ain, lam, the original huruf, and with 1 additional letter, alif. Fa'ala, you have fa, ain, lam, but with 1 additional letter, the tada'if that we have learned earlier in the beginning of the class. Okay, this is only, this is mazid, sorry, mazid with 1 letter. Mazid, we say mazid biharf. We add 1 letter to the fi'l. And this group, these are mazid plus 2 letters. These are mazid with 2 additional letters. If you look at number in fa'ala, this one, you have fa, ain, lam, and you have 2 additional letters, alif, nun. Here you have alif and ta, 2 letters. Here you have ta and alif. Here you have ta and tad'if. Okay, and here you have alif and tad'if. So these are the mazid with additional 2 letters. Mazid bi harfain. And the last one here, okay, with the one that I omitted. So these are the mazid plus 3. So this is the most fi'l. The most number of fi'l that you can have is mazid 3 letter plus 3 additional letter, 6 letters. You will never have 7 letter fi'l or 8 letter fi'l. The most is always 6 letter fi'l, because you have 3 mazid, 3 original huruf plus 3 additional letters. Okay. Now we look at the wazan. Okay, we look at the wazan. Now, the wazan for the first one. The wazan for the first one is the wazan af'ala. Af'ala. And remember, this is for fi'il madi. Af'ala with alif in the middle, in the beginning. When the fi'il madi is af'ala, the mudari is yuf'ilu. Okay, again, af'ala yuf'ilu. Af'ala yuf'ilu. What is the example? Example is ahsana yuhsinu. Okay, ahsana. So it is ha, sin, nun, original huruf, alif, additional letter. Here, alif. Yuhsinu, ha, sin, nun, original huruf, ya. This is the mudari letter. You add this ya. Okay, yuhsinu. And again, as we have mentioned earlier, you have to look at the madi in order to know whether you have additional letters or not. Okay, because if you look at the mudari, yuhsinu, of course you see a ya, but if I have said earlier, ya is this is the letter of mudari. So we don't consider it. So you see ha, sin, nun, then you will say, oh, this is 3-letter fi'il, mujarrad. So that is wrong. Why? Because you don't refer to mudari. You have to refer to fi'il madi. If you refer to fi'il madi, you will see this alif. ahsana. Okay, that is why this is wazan is important for you to identify whether you have mazid, additional letter or not. So af'ala yuf'ilu, ahsana yuhsinu. Okay, that is number one. Fa'ala, another pattern, another wazan in Arabic fi'il. Fa'ala, you have alif in the middle. Fa'ala. And if the madi is fa'ala, mudari is yufa'ilu. Fa'ala yufa'ilu. Fa'ala yufa'ilu. The misal is syahada yushahidu. Syahada yushahidu. Okay. Sorry, I forgot to give you the meaning. Ahsana yuhsinu bermakna to do good deeds. To do good deed is ahsana. To do something in a best way, that is also ahsana. Ahsana na'am fi amalihi. So he did very well in his work. So we say ahsana. Okay, he did it very well. Ahsana. Syahada fa'ala. Syahada yushahidu, to watch. To watch is syahada. Yushahidu television. I watch TV. So we say syahada. So syahada, here we have alif, additional alif. The wazan is what? The wazan is fa'ala. So since the wazan is fa'ala, you know that here we have this alif, additional letter. And the mudari is yufa'ilu, yushahidu. Now, fi'l number 3, wazan number 3, fa'ala, yufa'ilu. This is for mudari, we say yufa'ilu. Fa'ala yufa'ilu. And the example is allama. Fa'ala, allama. Yufa'ilu, yu'allimu. Allama yu'allimu. And the meaning is to teach. Allama yu'allimu, teach. Nah, allama yu'allimu. Right. Number 4. Number 4, in fa'ala. So now this is mazid with 2 letters. In fa'ala, alif nun. So you will see alif nun as well for the fi'il. In fa'ala, and the mudari is yanfa'ilu. In fa'ala yanfa'ilu. For example, the example is in kasara yankasiru. In kasara yankasiru. In kasara bermakna breaks. It's broken. It's broken. Something is broken. We say in kasara. In kasara al-zujaj, as in our example earlier. The glass is broken. So we say in kasara. The glass was broken, sorry, because this is fi'il madhi. Yankasiru, this is fi'il mudhari. Okay, yanfa'ilu is broken. Now, another wazan, if ta'ala. You have alif and you have ta. If ta'ala. So here you have alif and you have ta. Or you have hamzah and alif and ta. If ta'ala ijtama'a. The original letter is jim, mim, ain. Jim, mim, ain. Fa, ain, lam. Jim, mim, ain. Ijtama'a means to meet, to have a meeting or to gather. That is ijtama'a. Ijtama'a. And the mudari is yafta'ilu. So ijtama'a yajtami'u. Ifta'ala yafta'ilu, ijtama'a yajtami'u. Now, another wazan, tafa'ala yatafa'alu. Tafa'ala yatafa'alu. So here we have ta and alif as the additional letters. Ta and alif. Ta and alif. Tasara'a. So this is the word that we learned in yesterday's text. Tasara'a, to rush, to hurry. Tasara'a, to go in a hurry. We say tasara'a. Tasara'a, tafa'ala, and the mudari is yatafa'alu. So tasara'a, yatasara'u. Yatasara'u. Another wazan, tafa'ala. Tafa'ala, you have ta and you have this tada'if. Tafa'ala, and the mudari is yatafa'alu. Yatafa'alu. And the example is takallama. So you have this ta, similar to the wazan ta, and you have the tada'if here. Tafa'. So how do we read it? Takallama, similar to tafa'ala. And the mudari is yatakallamu. Yatakallamu, similar to yatafa'alu. Takallama, yatakallamu means speak. Takallama, yatakallamu. Atakallamu bil lughatil arabiyyah. I speak in lugha arabiyyah. Takallama, speak. If Allah, Okay, this wasn't is a bit rare. Okay, you don't see this a lot. If Allah, where you have alif and you have lam. Sorry, you have shadda, tad'if. Okay, not a lam, not it is a tad'if. Double the letter. Alif and you double the last letter. If Allah. And the mudari is yaf'allu. Yaf'allu. You have a shadda here. The example is ihmarra. You have alif and you double the last letter ra. The original word is ha mim ra. Ha mim ra. This is from the word ahmar, red, the color, red color. So ma mana ihmarra? Ihmarra turns into red. Something turns into red, we say ihmarra. For example, you say ihmarra wajhuha. Her face turned into red. Then we say ihmarra. So you can use this to use with other colors as well. For example, you want to say turn into black, iswadda, from the word aswad, it becomes iswadda, and so on. Now, so ihmarra, if'alla, and the mudari is yaf'alu, yahmaru, yahmaru. Okay, yahmaru. So this is most of the time it is used with adjective, with colors and others. Now, and the last one, the last wazan, the last this is the 3 letter, the additional fi'al with 3 letter additional huruf, alif, sin, ta. Istaf'ala, yastaf'ilu. Mudari is yastaf'ilu. Istaf'ala, yastaf'ilu. The example is istaghfara. You see the alif, sin, and ta. So these are the additional huruf, where the original fi'al is ghain, fa, and ra. Istaghfara bermakna to seek for forgiveness. To seek for forgiveness. Istaghfara. Mudari yastaf'ilu, yastaghfiru. We don't say yastaghfaru because you follow the wazan. Exactly. Yastaghfiru, yastaghfiru. Okay. So these are the wazan of fi'al sulasi mazid. Mazid sulasi. 3 letter but with mazid, with additional letters. With 1 additional letter, with 2 additional letters, and with 3 additional letters. And finally, the rubai. What about the rubai? What about the 4 letter fi'al? So 4 letter fi'al, they said the waznu. So again, change this to waznu. 1 wazan. There is only 1 wazan. The wazan for fi'al rubai mazid, and for the fi'al rubai, the additional letter is only this ta. So the wazan is only tafa'lala, where fa, ain, lam, lam is the original huruf and the ta is the additional huruf. So we just add ta. And the mudari is ya tafa'lalu. Tafa'lala, ya tafa'lalu. The example is tazalzala. This is from the word zalzala, to make it tremble. Tazalzala, to tremble. So tazalzalat al-ardu, the earth tremble. The earth is having earthquake, for example. We say tazalzala. Tazalzala. Yatazalzalu. Yatafa'lalu. Yatazalzalu. Okay, yatazalzalu. Nah. So this is the wazan for fi'il rubai mazid. So for this wazan sulasi mazid and wazan rubai mazid, you don't have to refer to dictionary. Okay, you just follow the wazan exactly and you will be able to find the mudari, okay, of the fi'il madi, right? So your task is throughout the weekend, before we meet again on Monday, is try to memorize this, the wazan, especially this sulasi al-mazid. For the sulasi mujarrad, you can make it like this. So fa'ala, this is because this is of the same wazan, so you can have fa'ala yaf'alu, fa'ala yaf'ilu, fa'ala yaf'ulu. Fa'ila, you can have 2 mudari. Fa'ila, it can be fa'ila yaf'alu or fa'ila yaf'ilu. For fa'ula, it is always fa'ula yaf'ulu. Try to memorize that. For rubai mujarrad, it is only 1. Fa'lala yufa'lilu. Fa'lala yufa'lilu. Okay. For rubai mazid, remember all this. Af'ala yuf'ilu. Fa'ala yufa'ilu. Fa'ala, what is mudari? Yufa'ilu. In fa'ala, mudari, yanfa'ilu. Because by memorizing this, it will make it easier for you to recognize the mudari later. So in our later lesson or in our exercises, we will see this. They will ask you to change from madi to mudari, They will ask you to identify the additional huruf. Okay, and our subsequent lesson will also depend on this. So this is, as I said, this is actually very important. Now, so far, any question? Anything you want to ask? Anything you want to ask? No? Okay. So if there's no question, so we stop here. So for next week, of course, I will continue with the Nahu topic, but we will start with our presentation. So I have yet to give you the new dates for the presentation, but to make it easy, every week we are going to have 2 groups. So you can plan, okay, your own group. So for example, next week we will have group 1 and group 2. Okay, because we have how many? We have 8 groups, right? So at least we want to have 2 groups for each week, but we can have 3. It is not a problem. So group 1, so I prefer to have it on Monday and Wednesday, because Monday we have two sessions, right? So one session is for Nahu, one session is for text. But it is up to you. You let me know. I don't want to give you the date, but I just want okay. Every week we have at least 2. So group one just now they said they want to do it on Monday. So group 2 you decide. So please let me know earlier. Group 2, do you want it to do on Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday? So let me know. Okay. So and then the other week, group 3 and group 4. Okay, the other week is group 3 and group 4. The other week, group 5 and group 6, and the final week is groups 7 and group 8. So is it okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay, all right. So how do you present? As I mentioned, it is good if you can print out the lesson, print out the lesson, and write your answer straight away on the lesson, and give me the PDF. And for the translation, you just translate, okay, above the text. It is okay, not a problem. You don't have to write on a separate piece of paper. But if you are not able to print the book, it's okay. You print it, you put it in the piece of paper. But please give me beforehand, before our class, okay? At least half an hour before class, so that I can prepare on my computer. So I will present everything. You don't have to present from your side. All right. Is that clear? Okay. So if that is clear, I believe I have put in Italim the dates for the assessment. Please check. I've forgotten whether I have put the dates or not. I think yes, I have put the dates. Inshallah.
Yes, dah ada.
Dah ada kan? Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you, Anna. So if there's no question, yes.
Ustaz, kami punya presentation hari Isnin pukul 11 kan?
Ya, boleh.
Okay.
Boleh. Presentation Isnin pukul 11 ya. So please let me know. Okay. So if there is no other question, we conclude today's lesson with tasbih kafara and surah Al-Asr. A'udzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wal 'asri innal insana lafi khusr illa allazina amanu wa amilus solihat tawassaw bil haqq wa tawassaw bis sabr. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika asyhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Naam, ila liqa biiznillah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum.
Ustaz.
Terima kasih Ustaz.
Sama afwan.